Hey everybody, I'm Howard and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. It's Tuesday, so as promised, I'm going to reveal the changes I made in my portfolio. Now, if you were here for my last video, I talked about selling all my stocks. Obviously, I didn't sell absolutely everything, but I sold almost everything and parts of what remained. That was my old portfolio. Got 9 positions. My breakdown in my portfolio with stocks and bonds: 62% stocks, 38% bonds. For those of you who are new to me, it was kind of an unfair question to say, what do you think I'll do? For those of you who have seen me before, I thought some of the guesses would be better, but for all the people who guessed and what you thought I was going to do, some of them were just so far out. It was funny, it was enjoyable, especially for people who know me and said some ridiculous things knowing that it was ridiculous. It was fun. One person did guess what I'm doing, and that was Bill Reed, whose whose YouTube channel is Not Good at Anything. I've mentioned him before. He kind of watches my videos, and he knows which direction I like to go and what I'm going to do. So after he guessed wrong at first, I sort of directed him in where he should probably look, and then he got it right. But a lot of you were close, and as many of you know, I talked about VTI and VT as the two ETFs I sort of compare my portfolio against to see if I'm doing well. And I've been doing this for about 1.5 years like this, and I decided that while I can beat those indexes at times, I don't know that I can do it consistently over the long haul, because you sort of have to guess, large versus small, growth versus value. You have to sort of guess which proportions in order to beat the indexes. And just to put in one stagnant proportion allocation like these and just let it sort of ride, probably not going to do it. So I finally made the decision, as I've always said, just to switch to an index fund. Now I kind of wheeled off of that, and I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about. So as I talked about, I sold off some of, and I sold off, I changed my allocation. So stocks are now 55%, bonds are now 45%, and I did that by selling off some stocks and using some of that cash to buy bonds. In other words, reallocate. And while most people reallocate once a year at the same time of the year, I only reallocate when I'm selling off stocks, and I only sell off stocks at certain times when they've run up a certain amount. So this was a good time to do it. I had all that cash, and I'm taking some money out of my HSA, so I also took some money out of the portfolio, and this is what I ended up with. I was 50-50 about 3 years ago when I retired, so stocks had really grown. Dollar amount wise, I'm about where I was at the end of 24 in stocks. So there was a lot of growth and a lot of profit to take. So now, as I've talked about, I had a lot of VOG, and it's a large growth fund ETF from Vanguard. And unfortunately, a lot of it is in my taxable account. And it's done pretty well in about 18 months, 20 months, however long I had it, it's up about 50%. And if I had to sell it off of my taxable account, I would have incurred a tax liability, a large capital gains tax. So I kept it there, and I'll probably sell it off over time where I can more easily manage the tax ramifications. But I did have some in my IRA, and I sold that off. So right now, I'm still holding VUG, and it's about 17.5% of my stock portfolio. Alike, I had VEA, and I was looking at it versus VSUS, which is Vanguard's total international fund. And what I discovered is, for every period I looked at, VEA, which is just large cap, easily beat that fund. 1 month, 6 months, year to date, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long I looked, VEA beat it. So I decided I might as well just keep VEA. I did sell my other two, international and emerging markets. All three of them have done extremely well this year. We're talking 25, 28% increases. Um, so I'm very happy with that. VEA is now, or, and that's all my international, that's 11% of my portfolio. So the rest went into one fund or one ETF. And the winner is Y. All right, so that's now 71.5% of my portfolio. That's Dimensional Fund's U.S. stock fund. So what this is, it's designed to kind of be like VTI, which is the entire U.S. stock market, but it has a significant lower number of holdings. VTI holds the entire U.S. market, which is 3,523 stocks, while DFUS has 2,435 stocks. So the reason I did this was, in essence, DFUS is by definition a managed fund. It's not a true index fund because it doesn't copy the whole index. What they do, though, they've identified certain sectors or certain types of stocks that don't do as well compared to the total market. Number one, they don't do much. They have a tiny exposure to REITs. They've taken out some small cap and some micro caps, but the profile is very close to VTI. But again, if I look back, any period I looked at, this fund beat VTI, and sometimes, by 60 to 100 basis points for the period. So VTI had a expense ratio of 0.03%, DFUS has 0.09%. So I'm willing to pay that extra 0.06% because it has always beaten VTI by way more than that over whatever period I look at. So I think I can afford that extra expense. So, this is my stock portfolio now. My bond portfolio has grown a little. It's still made up mostly of holdings that I will hold until they mature. I have jumped into a bond fund. I had VCLT. I sold that off. I didn't like that. It performed about as well as the money market over the last year, so it was kind of a wash there. I have to look up the symbol for what I bought. I think it's IGIB, iShares Intermediate Term Corporate Bond Fund. That's done pretty well. That's where I'm going to park my money. I still hold about the same amount of cash, although I've moved more into bonds because I could easily sell those bond funds and get cash if I need it. So this is where I am. Tell me what you think. If it's anticlimactic for some of you, there was no big reveal. I didn't buy, highly leveraged funds or, option selling funds. This is more what I've talked about myself as. And again, the amount of money is irrelevant. What I have and what you have, you can do the exact same thing and have 1/10 of what I have, or you can do the exact same thing and have 10 times what I have. The amount of money is not important because it all works in the same ratios for all of us. Your same holdings would break down the same way if you have what I have and do what I do. And your expenses could be lower or they could be higher. I tend to think I'm kind of in the higher middle part. I heard Buzz talking the other day on his channel, Buzz's Retirement Garage, that he thinks I have a lot of money. I think I probably have a lot less money than Buzz thinks I have, but who knows what Buzz thinks. So here it is. Give me your comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what questions you have. And tell me what you might maybe do differently. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.